tell you guys a story. It's really loud, but I'll roll my window up. Okay. No, it's too big for it. No. Okay, so I wanted to tell you guys this story because there's a lot of stuff going around on the internet, and I want to kind of tell this story. And like, I have never talked about this story since the day that it happened, since the day that I found it out. I've never brought it up to anybody because it was such like a traumatic incident, and I want to talk to you guys about it because there's a similar incident going around on the internet right now, and I just feel kind of compelled to put a little bit of my story in what happened in my life out there so that you guys can have like a better insight on how sometimes things work. I'm going to tell you the story, okay? And it's very similar to something that is going on YouTube, and I'm sure you guys know about, you know, Arlie and what happened with her, and Danielle and what she's going through. So I'm not going to get into that because that's not my story to tell, but I'm going to tell you my story. There's more perspective into what happened. Like, so back when I was like 17, maybe 18, I was using, and I went to a bonfire like that I shouldn't have been at because it was with people that I really didn't know like that, and I had dope with me and I had drugs with me, obviously, like because I was a heroin addict, and there was a girl there, and I'm not gonna say her name, but we'll call her like we'll call her Tree. No, I don't want to like say with anybody's name that I actually know. We'll call her Taylor. Okay, we'll call her Taylor. So we'll call her. That's what we'll call her. And we got to talking, and it turned out like we knew the same dealer that she did dope too, whatever. And she asked if I had any on me. So I was like, yeah, I got like, you know, like one or two if you want to buy it. And you know, you got to remember this was like a long time ago. Okay, so basically we're at a bonfire. So what we did was we flipped our beer cans. Okay, flipped our beer cans, empty beer cans, and you know, mixed it up with beer. Okay, so, and everybody knows what happens when you shoot alcohol. You get shit-faced. So we both did that. I got wrecked. She got wrecked. But what happened later is the issue. Okay, so I ended up leaving, and the next day I had a ton of hate mail and Facebook messages and shit like this, and everybody was calling me a murderer, and said that night she was so messed up that she fell off like the top of a building and died. And like I guess like she was like in a coma before she passed away. So you can imagine like what I was feeling, like not knowing. I didn't like I knew there was, I was thinking in my head like, how could somebody have just been that messed up off of like shooting a little bit of beer and dope. And so like for so long, like the real story, which I'm gonna tell you what actually happened. People were calling me a murderer, saying that I assisted in her murder. They were like, oh, her family's gonna take you to court, whatever. What ended up happening is, like, obviously they did a test on her, and they found more out. After she had left me, she, like, did PCP with someone else, and that was what pushed her over the edge, metaphorically and literally. So now, like, this was so long ago, I really don't talk about it because it's sad, because I still feel partially responsible. Because you can't mix shooting dope, beer, and PCP, and like obviously it all contributed. And like I felt so bad, and I still feel bad, and I don't know whatever happened to her family. Like I know she was like in a like vegetated state, but I know that I had the whole world against me until people found out way later. I'm talking like way later, like, because their family wasn't like talking about it, but obviously they didn't take me to court because they found out the truth, but like, nobody really knew about the PCP part until way later. So I had this extreme backlash and this extreme hate when not only did I not know the full story because I wasn't there at that point. I was not there at that point that she got hurt. I don't know what happened in the hours before. I know what happened, like, you know, many hours before, but like, I don't know, maybe it was like, I don't know, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and she fell off there for like 4 in the morning, 5, I don't know. But, so, I just wanted to tell you guys that. I don't really know why. Like, because I don't talk about that story. I don't even think my own family, I think my brother knows about that story, but I don't think I ever told my parents really about that. Like, but there's like a lot that's went on, you know, from when I started using till now. But I just wanted to tell you guys that story because I want there, like, to be an open picture, a bigger, like, for people to realize there's a bigger picture in life sometimes. And not just that, but like the amount of hate that I got, like, I spent so long, like, I wanted to kill myself. I was miserable thinking that I caused this and that, you know, like, someone's family was ruined forever. And I knew the feeling of losing a brother, so like I already knew the pain that like her parents and her family were probably going through, and I never talked about it to my family. I just like harbored it inside, and until like, I think it was like a year or two later, I found out that it's that long for the pain to stop and start to settle down, because I finally found out that it wasn't really my fault. Like, I didn't force a needle in her arm. I didn't force her to do any of other drugs that she did that night. I didn't take her up on that roof, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't there. I don't, like, so I guess what I'm saying is, I think that, you know, like, we all should kind of realize that in every situation, if you're not there, there's usually more to the story. Like, I was affected for so long because of that, and I guess that's why this whole story about what happened with Arlie, like, hit so close to home, kind of, in a way. But a ton of hate videos, and not really the same, because I never said any, like, I never, like, made any hate videos about Danielle, but I do want to say this, like, no one on here is ever going to know the truth of what happened. No one is ever going to know why that situation happened. And I'm just talking about it now because I know that it's still, even a year, like, this is a year later, and it's still a really hard subject for a lot of people. So I just want to say, like, no one is ever going to know why she did what she did, because she did it alone, more than likely. You know, and not only that, like, you know, there's an ongoing investigation, and I think that if anyone really wants her to have, like, justice or whatever, then the best thing that we could do is kind of let the authorities take over and just let them do their job at this point. Because if like, I think about back then, like, if people just kept going word of mouth and said, no, Regina, no, Regina, no, Regina, no, Regina, maybe they never would have found out that it was something else, and there was other situations that were going on that night. Like, maybe I would have been blamed, maybe I would have went to jail, and I never would have known that something else happened to her that night. So that's just, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say besides that. Because, I mean, obviously it's like, it was a long time ago. I don't want to talk about it more than this. If you're watching, I think Anthony knows, it was like so down low too. Like, it was like, so bad that just nobody was talking, because then when you think about it, everybody at that party was involved. Everybody who was partying that night was involved. Everybody who was partying with her up on that roof was involved. So there was a lot of guilt going around. But yeah, so I just wanted to basically tell you guys that. And that was a story of something that happened to me a long time ago, and I feel like it kind of relates. And the amount of pain that I felt when people would call me a murderer and say that I'm going to prison and all this stuff for something that I wasn't even there when it happened, it fucking hurt. And then, you know, a lot of times, like, we get so wrapped up in thinking, you know, like, for example, like, I'm just gonna say, for example, everybody could be so quick to point a finger at Danielle that could be masking the true situation that really happened. There could have been someone else there, someone else involved, a whole nother story, but everybody's so quick to point a finger that everybody's missing what really happened. Kind of like everybody was so quick to point a finger at me. It took years for me to finally find out, for it to get back to me that there was PCP and other drugs involved. So I just wanted to put that out there as just a brief little something to think about, you know what I mean? And that's really it. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to tell you guys as of right now. But I will talk to you guys later. I mean, I'll tell you guys more about stuff like that, but I mean, that's just like a sad story, so it's like I don't really talk about it. But I will talk to you guys later because I gotta go to probation now. Bye.